Hi, I'm the Wine,
Hi, I'm the Rum.
and on this channel we do videos about what it's like to be an expat in Dublin and how you can become an expat as well. So we get messages on our Facebook and Instagram every now and then about people who want to move to Ireland but they just don't know where to start. So we thought we'll do a video talking through the different steps. Depending on where you are on your journey, if you've already been offered a job, the steps might be in a different sort of
Order, yeah.
in a different order. So we're working assuming that you haven't even looked at jobs, you haven't looked at anything, you just have the vague idea you want to move to Ireland. So if something like this and living in Ireland, these things in general are interesting to you, make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of our videos, because we do post twice a week.
So step one you should always check on is your eligibility to work. Ireland, like many countries across the world, you have to get a work permit in order to work here without any trouble, which means non-illegally. No illegal working here, please. But of course, depending on your nationality or a couple other factors, is how you can know if you actually would need a work permit. As we know, we're not immigration experts here, but this is just to get started. Of course, you have to check the official websites for the proper information, but as far as we know, there are 4 ways that you can get a permit here in Ireland. Of course, if you're from an EU nation, you have the right to work in Ireland without a work permit. Also, if you're the spouse or some sort of family member of someone here who does have residency, or another EU individual as well, kind of like why I'm here, because after something like that, family. Yeah, you also would be able to go through a process and get a work permit as well. Also, if you were a graduate of a tertiary institution, you also get some time after you graduate in order to get some work experience in Ireland. And of course, the final category would be those folks who qualify for the critical skills permit. Of course, these are several jobs. We put a link in the description to a website where you can check what the critical jobs are for this year.
So once you've decided what permit you can get to work in Ireland, the next step is probably where would you actually like to work in Ireland, because there are very big differences between Dublin and the rest of Ireland. So Dublin is a very multicultural, very expensive city as well. So depending on what jobs you're interested in, they need to kind of have the salary to match in order for that to work out. Meanwhile, in the rest of Ireland, the cost of living is much cheaper, but you'd have different costs. So like in Dublin, you can use public transport. The rest of Ireland, you probably have to get a car and car insurance and all those things as well. So there are different financial advantages and disadvantages, but ultimately I would say it's also very much a lifestyle choice. Do you want to live in the countryside, in a smaller community with beautiful landscape all around you? Or do you prefer the bustling city and being able to go out pretty much, not every time of the day because pubs do close at some point, but usually any time you go to the airport early in the morning, there's always someone around up and about in Dublin streets. So once you've decided whether you want to move to the city of Dublin or rather the countryside somewhere else in Ireland, you can start trying to gauge how much money is it going to take you to live there and how much money is it going to take you to move there. We also did several videos about that, we'll link to those in the description, but pretty much once you have that savings goal, it's a good idea to start saving as early as possible, because the job market does move very fast. Like, I got a job offer on a Tuesday, the Monday after that I started to work here, so we pretty much moved country within like a few days. So it's not necessarily always that fast, especially if you need to have the work permit processed first, but it can be a good idea to have at least some savings ready that you can accept the job as quickly as possible without having to worry about that.
So by this stage, you've kind of got a good idea of the permit you might need. Therefore, it's time to start looking for that job search. Now, 2 of the most popular types of jobs in Ireland, especially Dublin as we can tell, are those that need the critical skills and also foreign language skills jobs, since a lot of the companies here do service the European, African, Asian region. So being bilingual, more than one language, always a benefit when moving to Dublin. The interesting thing is that stuff in Dublin moves pretty quickly. Because there are a lot of jobs and offers and people move in, the job market moves pretty quickly. However, this doesn't mean that you need to move here as quickly as possible in order to conduct interviews. A lot of interviews are actually done remotely, via Skype or any sort of business service calling tool as well. So the thing is that some in-person interviews before you get the job offer might not actually be necessary. However, when you do get that job offer, the time to start, as the one was saying in the story just now, might be fairly quick, especially if you don't need to go through a lot of documentation and so on like that for the work permit. So that's another thing you'll have to be prepared for, to be able to hit the ground running almost as soon as you get the job offer, just because that's the sort of speed that the job market is currently moving at.
So let's say you've got your permit, or at least it's being processed, you've got your job, you have your start date, you're finally moving to Ireland, so your next biggest concern is accommodation. A big one, especially in Dublin, because rent prices can be really expensive, and wherever you pick to move and live can be also influencing your daily commute a lot, and whether that'll take a very long time or it'll be much shorter. So it's a really big decision to decide where you want to live. So what we did, and what we would also advise people to do, is if you're able to, try to have a sort of short-term accommodation like Airbnb or another short-term accommodation service for your first few weeks. Sometimes companies also offer that actually as a relocation bonus, that they'll take care of your accommodation for the first 2 weeks, and really use those first weeks to try and get to know areas that could be interesting to you. So you can talk to your colleagues, what areas do they live in, what is their commute like, what interesting areas would they be thinking about moving to if they were moving now, and try to get a bit of research like that, and also visit those areas in person so you can get a really good idea about where you want to move to. Another advantage of being here in person is that you can actually look at the property and you can make sure that the windows are okay, there is no mold, things like that that are also really important before you settle down and pay a deposit as well as first months of rent. So those are the steps you can take in order to move to Ireland. If you want more details on some of the steps, or if you have particular questions, do let us know in the comments and we'll do more videos about them.
Yes, and I'm going to interrupt here because today is actually a pretty interesting day in Ireland. Yeah, general elections were yesterday, so they're now calling up votes. We don't know what's happening, but it's also like raining cats and dogs outside, so one of those days where it's very rainy. But yesterday we also met with this cool couple who just moved to Ireland this week. And from some of the questions, we hung out, it was a good time. And for some of the questions, we were thinking that, okay, we still get some of those, there are lots of questions that, we can't really answer on YouTube or answer repeatedly. So we were thinking about, how could we do something to help you all guys? And this is our idea.
A course! Because that seems to be, I did not mean to make that rhyme. But yeah. We're thinking about doing a course, because that way we're able to have a more structured way of presenting a bigger amount of information, and we get to mix it with spreadsheets, I love my spreadsheets, and other types of information like that, to just make it a more consistent experience and make it easier to get all the information comfortably.
Yeah, because we started making so much videos and realized that all the information is like scattered everywhere, and we can't be like, did you watch that video? It's like, no one's going to know that the video from a year ago actually contained that information. So we're thinking, let's do this, get the website, get a course, have it some more concise information so that everyone knows exactly what to do before you come here.
So if you're interested in that, we actually started an email newsletter where we'll update you on all the different new information and things we have going on. So make sure to subscribe and you'll be the first one to know all the cool new stuff that we're working on.
Yep, cool. And with that, we must go look at the election results now.
Yes. We'll do that. No comments on how it's currently going, because it's been a 3-week high, so we've just been refreshing and it's just the same stuff over and over again, so we literally have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, that's it for now. Später.
Bye.